Released June 29th, 2023 by Carbon Studio for the Quest 2, Mindset is a departure from what I'm accustomed to from my friends over at Carbon. I'm used to some VR action-adventure mixed in with a lot of climbing and projectile magic for good measure, but here, what we have is one very unique puzzle game, presented in an extremely creative way, using the Quest 2's hand tracking feature, much like another VR game I reviewed this year, by the folks over at Games by Stitch, Brock and Spectre. Mindset turned out to be a bit more than I expected. Thanks, Carbon Studio, for the review key. Let me start this review by saying I'm not into puzzle games. Not because I don't like them, but because they intimidate me. Always have. But a part of my life path and purpose dictates that I should say yes to the things that scare me, face my fears head on, so to speak. And so I did.
Oh good, you're connecting.
I have quite a bit to say about this unique puzzle game, and the first thing is, it reminds me of two other games I reviewed a while back. One called Into a Dream, an indie game about a man, through the use of science, entering his own subconscious to battle his inner darkest demons. And the other, Arcsmith.
Am I really alone here?
Yes, no one else is here.
And the birds singing, crabs running around, rabbits hopping in the clearing.
It's all your imagination.
The story, yes. Mindset has an actual, fully narrated story, and this helps a lot. Particularly for persons like myself who needs to be nudged, incentivized to sit with a puzzle game. This isn't like Tetris, where you just shift blocks around with no rhyme or reason. There's an actual method to Mindset's madness. And with this story, I get a deeper meaning behind this experience. There's more to it than meets the eye, if you're willing to pay attention to what's being presented here. And the inclusion of a story, a pretty good one for a puzzle game, is the aspect which reminds me of Arcsmith.
It broke my father. He lost control over his life, started acting irrationally. Rather than be there for her, he hit on the nurses and got blackout drunk.
Entering your own subconscious to unearth, unravel, piece together fragments of thoughts, memories, purpose, and so on is the part which reminds me of Into a Dream by Dev Philippe F. Thomas.
Maybe this is the afterlife.
How would you define death?
From a clinical standpoint, it occurs when no autonomous respiratory effort or cardiovascular activity are present.
This story created purpose and kept me engaged. The more you play, the more puzzles you solve, is the deeper you go into your own mind. The more the story unfolds, from a simple, yet not so simple rescue mission of a man lost in a coma after a plane crash to a more ominous, deeper purpose. I liked it.
Tara, are you there?
One moment. I'm sorry. I'm afraid I have bad news.
The visuals here are along the lines of a minimalist voxel art style. It does not push the Quest too hard at all, and while simple in its design, serves its purpose well. While the backgrounds look incredibly simplistic, the box which you interact with is a bit more detailed. In the sound department, Carbon Studio did well here. Much like the visuals, there isn't much here, as there are really only a handful of characters speaking, and very little in the way of a score or sound effects, but what's here is suitable. The voice acting is another thing which strangely reminds me of Into a Dream. There are some odd similarities. I say odd because, while all the characters have that homemade B-movie sound to them, not in a bad way, but I can tell there were no A-listers used here. But while they all have that sound to them, they also sound, particularly the actor who plays the role of the boss. He almost sounds identical to one of the actors in Into a Dream.
Might as well be magic. According to the doctor here, yes, you are alive, only... What's this interference? Jack, I'll be brief.
In that game, Into a Dream, I know the dev basically got family and friends to do the voice work, and it was evident in their performances. But what I'm saying is, I highly doubt the Into a Dream team had anything to do with this game, and it just feels kinda ironic that the game's premise is very similar to Into a Dream, and the voice acting is also similar.
Why aren't you at your own party? If you don't mind me asking.
I needed to get away for a while.
Just felt the need to put that out there. It's neither here nor there, really. The gameplay. This is where it gets even more interesting. Mindset, much like Brock and Spectre, uses hand tracking only. And while there were quite a bit of janky moments when I just began my playthrough, I became acclimated with the controls and things seemed to have worked themselves out the more I played. There were still moments when I'd be turning the box or grabbing cogs and things wouldn't work as intended, but the experience did get better with time.
Tara, are you there?
I feel the need to make this disclaimer for every hand tracking game I review. When interacting with these experiences, I can't cast too much blame on the devs, as I believe the Quest 2's hand tracking tech, while impressive as is, still isn't anywhere near perfect. So when I experience jank, I'm really forgiving. Let me put it that way. On startup, there really are no game options. There's the story mode and a challenge mode. You're advised by the devs to play through the story mode before entering the challenge mode though, and I must concur with the devs on this recommendation. Your objective during the story, as I briefly explained earlier, is to use this mysterious box, attaching cogs to it, in order to power it up to advance to the next area of your subconscious mind. As you progress, the puzzles do become harder, but not all the time. There will be moments where you just got through a pretty tough one. You'll be feeling fatigued, like you'd rather take a break, but you'll be greeted with a pleasant surprise should you push on, as the next box may be figured out in under a minute. I love this balance. It incentivizes the push to completion. All these puzzles are logic and physics based, and none of them are really that hard, once you keep a clear mind and exercise some patience.
Trust me. Just be patient.
If you're intimidated by puzzles like I am, my best advice to you is, similar to what I'd tell a kid being bullied, the big bad wolf isn't really that tough after all, just seems that way on the surface. If, however, you're not like me, you actually love puzzle games, especially VR puzzle games, then this is a must play. If you're interested in or curious about hand tracking games, then much like me, your curiosity will be rewarded. While hand tracking still got a ways to go, this is pretty impressive as is. This is the kind of tech persons in my age group fantasized about as kids in the 80s. The future's here, guys, and it's only going to get better. Well, until that whole AI apocalypse hits, of course. But until then, have a great time interacting with games like Mindset. It's definitely worth the time. Thank you for watching. If you like my content, feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Check out the TV series on Flow One, the Lab Video Game TV, available in 25 countries across the Caribbean. Download the Flow Sports app to watch us on Flow on the go. Check out the website at thelabvideogametv.com for exclusive content, written reviews, and merch coming soon. You can reach out to us at contact@thelabvideogametv.com. Let's say on the other hand though, I found some way to piss you off with this one, then hey, dislike, unsub, leave a 200-word essay voicing your displeasure in the comments section if you need to. Whatever it takes to make you feel vindicated, partner. Either way, I won't hold it against you. Our game is never over.
Unbelievable. This is revolutionary.